So I'll let y'all load in. My fault, man. Sometimes when I go through a part of my neighborhood when I'm driving, it does that. So I wait for everybody to load up in here. I don't know how much everybody heard the last time, but I'll start over. So I let people load up. And I know it's early in the day. So I'm recording it just in case people had to work today. They couldn't get away. This ain't going to be a 3-hour episode like yesterday. You can believe that, baby bubba. No, sir. And I'm adamant about that. This might be 45 minutes or less. Why did I say that? Because I jinx myself every time I put a time limit that I'm going to stop. And usually double. But look, man, help me, Jesus. Help me today. You know what I'm saying? Please, please. So I'm letting people load up, man. What y'all doing tonight, man? I'm an old head. I'll probably be asleep by 10 o'clock. I ain't watching no New Year's, nothing. I know the year coming tomorrow. I don't need no ball dropping to let me know. You know? I'm all right.
Yesterday was needed. Yesterday was needed.
Yo, you stupid. You stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna release the petty part probably on Sunday.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, dog, it was a lot. I didn't realize there was so many bullets being shot because they were going so rapid fire that I was like, yo, that was there too?
Look, people ain't even take off their jerseys and bullets shot. I mean, they ain't even got back to the locker room yet.
Yo, it was a lot of stuff said. I was like, oh my God, they said that?
A lot. So sometimes it's needed. Either we go men together, get together, or we go keep bickering about dumb stuff. But that's why I was needed.
Yeah, because if it was a back and forth dialogue, then I kind of just, started doing stuff on the side, mute my mic, and letting people talk. So that way it keeps me from cutting them off. But then, I was like, oh, yeah, I should have probably said something right here. Ooh, I should have said something right there. Oh, that was disrespectful as hell.
That was bad business yesterday.
Yeah, but in editing the video, I did want to say that I did want to pose this question. I think I posed it yesterday, like briefly. Why do fans like so? If you notice, it was a Tech fan, a couple of Tech fans when they was going that glove, they was using one particular recruit that didn't come, that ended up going to, UNC as a casualty of war all the time. And are they aware that it's kind of messed up that they use that kid as a casualty of war to try to get at Glove and why they don't like him? And I think that's like jacked up. Because if I am a parent, I'm kind of looking at them like, damn, dog, would you say that if we would have came to your school? Hell no. Like, we get it. You don't like Glove, but why you got to keep using my youngin's name to better help your vitriol? Like, just like my man did just say, I just don't like him. I respected that, but don't try to bring somebody else down to help out what you're saying. That is what bothers me now, like going back and listening to it. I'm like, yo, the kid, he's a good kid. You know what I'm saying? Trying to say my man taking money and stuff. It's like, come on, son. Come on, dog. You just lost out on the recruit, man.
Definitely.
You tough. You be all right. Like, stop whining. I don't get it, man. I don't get why people make up stuff like that. And look, no, I ain't even gonna take that. I ain't even gonna do devil's advocate. I don't even know why they make up stuff like that. Oh, he got that bag. Come on, son.
Yeah, that's only an assumption, man. You can only assume that. If you don't know, I don't think you should speak on that for real.
Let me get my dog.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. And then Mom Duke.
I don't know why a Tech fan was mad. Anyways, if anything, UVA fans should be mad. Like, why is a Tech fan mad? Why are you mad?
Because because some of the affiliation with him in high school, like, I know like RJ Kendrick is a very prominent figure from Virginia Tech that's around that kid. You know what I'm saying? So they figure, we got the inside track. And then, of course, we know his family represents UVA in some aspects. So, like you said, it's like, damn. You would think we'd be the ones out there screaming that.
Exactly. Why? Like, I don't think Tech was probably ever a front. They won't ever a front runner. Not over UVA, they wasn't. But Tech fans, y'all, man, like, come on, man.
But that's how I know.
They were just more mad at Glover.
That's how I know it was just a shot at Glover, and they was using that kid, and he was a martyr, man. It's like, damn, dog, why you coming at him? Because real talk, with his mom right there, I can see how she get tight over that. Because it's like, even if you want to just brush it off, it's like, but damn, why you keep using him? Because people going to really start believing that.
Oh, they are. Definitely are. And that can lead into investigations and stuff that nobody wants to deal with.
Yeah. Facts, bro. Cub, what's good with you, homie?
What's good, famo?
Ain't nothing, man. Just wanted to double back once I went back through all that 3 hours of, that 2 hours of pettiness. The last hour was straight jewels.
Yeah. And I was glad that I was a part of that last part, man. You know, it's just like I wanted to get back in a couple of times, but I don't know what was going on with my crazy phone. But I love the fact that guys were talking about uplifting the kids, because, you know, that's what I'm about. I'm all about that player development, you know, because it is about the 40-year decision. I don't care where you went to school. You know, I mean, we all have our own little rivalry internally and we talk trash to each other. But at the end of the day, we all want the kids to be the best version of themselves, and anything that we can do to help elevate them or create pathways to their success. You know, I'm all for that because, you know, unfortunately, the sport that they play, it has an end date. You know, and everybody doesn't get to determine when that end date is. And so what are we doing to set these kids up to be successful as people, as individuals? You know, are we good for telling kids to, and you heard me say this a million times, we good for telling kids to, hey, create a plan for your life, you know, and then, all right, now go out and do that. But then we don't show them how to do the plan, you know, how to create the plan, how to design it, you know, how to create the pathway, you know. And so ultimately for me, it is, you know, it was, damn, you know, thinking about what I thought I did it the right way. You know, I chose the school that was best for me with the great academic reputation. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go there. They're going to pay for this education. I'm going to get this and get the good job. Okay, I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL for 5 years. But when the game quit me, I'm like, all right, well, you know, I got my degree. They said that the jobs would come. Well, that wasn't the case, bruh. That wasn't the case. And so I thought I had to think back on, damn, what didn't I do right? Well, you know what? I hadn't done the internships. Nobody taught me to network and build the resources around me. You know, all the tools that nobody put me up on game on. And I'm like, okay, you know, after turning myself into a nonprofit executive and seeing what that space was like, but it was hard, man. It was hard work, but I did it. And so when I started doing the radio for Virginia and mentoring a lot of the kids that come through the program and asking them specifically, what's your plan? Your major, what you plan to do with that? And I got tired of hearing, I have no idea. And so that's when I created my underdog movement, bro, because I'm just like, it's got to be a better way, man. It's got to be a better way. And so my focus is about teaching these kids life skills so that when they leave college, they have a degree in one hand and a plan for their life in the other, whether they play sports or not. Because if you are fortunate to play at the next level, which 1 out of 10 will, then you still got to have an escape plan, an exit strategy for how you're going to govern your life, because you're going to be in life more than you're going to play the sport, you know. And if you're fortunate enough to get to the 3-year average, man, you still got a whole lot of life ahead, you know. And so I got so tired of hearing that coming from athletes. I'm like, okay, well, who chose you? Who told you to do that major? Did you determine that? Nah, well, you know, it wasn't really a lot out there. So they kind of pushed us in this direction. That's bullshit. We're not setting the kids up to be successful in life by doing that, forcing them into majors so that they can stay eligible. And we're not putting them up on game. And so, you know, if we can get that information to high school kids, so that when these college recruiters come in, We have already taught them how to think differently, how to think about their lives and different things that they have interest in outside of the sport. So when a coach comes in, well, coach, thank you. I appreciate you recruit me. And I'm thinking about also a career in X, and the major that's going to be applicable to that is X. Do you have that major at your school? Oh, you don't. Oh, man. All right. OK, well, cool, coach. I appreciate it. So then that kid can make an educated decision with their parent at their side saying, well, look, I really like this school and this school, but they don't have the major that's going to get me into this particular career. All right. Now, these schools over here do have that. So let's narrow our list to the ones that's going to get me to the 40-year decision as opposed just to that 4 or 5. And that's what I'm about. And so I heard a lot of that going on yesterday, and it made me proud. It made me proud.
Facts, bro. Facts. Yeah, that last hour was definitely like priceless, man, because it's needed. That's some of the things that folks just don't want to talk about. For some reason, I don't understand why. You know what I'm saying? When you hear people breaking down recruiting on platforms, it just seems like they don't want to tell them the full truth because maybe they shortchanging their university, but at the same time, look, man, if our university can't offer you everything, we know that. But we're gonna tell you what it can offer. Now we're not going. The one thing we never been in the business of, Cub, and I know I can speak for you because we the same. I don't never say, hey man, you need to come here because that school can't do that. Nah. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that. That's just not me.
That's facts. You know, just like we were when we had Olu in the transfer portal. When he was trying to make his decision, hell yeah, I want a Remington finalist. I want him to stay at UVA. But what I told him, I said, man, you got to make the best decision for you. Period, point blank. Not nobody else, but for you, and weigh all the things. So then when he made his decision, I said, hey, what was the determining factor? And he broke these things down. I was like, yo, man, you thought through the process. You handled your business accordingly. Best of luck to you. You got my number 24/7. The game don't change. You always blue and orange to me, fam. Always. And that's how we got to be.
Yep. And speaking of that, salute to my man, the Samoan slasher, Wayne Tyler Papa, man.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? He entered the transfer portal. He a graduate of this great university. Salute to him, bro. Mad respect for my man, the Hard Knock. But if we got any speakers, man, that wanna come up, just let me know. You want to share your thoughts? Especially with yesterday's episode. I know it was a lot, and a lot of people ain't get to provide their input. And I don't want people thinking I'm taking shots at like Virginia Tech's fan base. I'm just coming at the Virginia Tech fan yesterday that didn't like Glover but kept using Rice as a bullet, which they didn't have to. They could just go at Glover because he grown and just say, yo, I don't like you. Versus, hey, because I know he only went there for this and this and that. Not realizing that, yo, you kind of turned down that young king before he even gets started. So I don't think that's fair. So yeah, man. And if you never been in spaces before, all I gotta do is hit the little request at the bottom left corner of your phone. I could bring you up to be a speaker. You can share your thoughts on anything. Don't be nervous. It's all fun. Hey, Jackie, we got any new updates, offers, or anything? You know, you always more than welcome to inform us and let us know. She might be busy.
And I definitely want to chop it up with Jackie more on the NIL stuff, man. I had a conversation with TW last night, bro, after we had got off the line, you know, talking about NIL possibilities and things that we could do. So I definitely want to pull you in, but definitely want to get more insight as to how we can direct some things. I mean, I think I'm thinking more on a smaller scale, you know, whether it's T-shirts or hats or whatever, you know, with our brand, Hawk.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I know, you know, T-Dub told me we can do some things along those lines because they've done some things with basketball before, but not, you know, on a smaller scale. Yeah. So it's just a matter of us trying to figure out how we can do it. And to have a conversation with a couple of other folks that have kind of gone down down this road a little bit, but kind of kept getting stuck. You know, and so they like get it to a certain point. They're like, well, I'm not sure. Well, how do we do it? How do we do this? How do we do that? And those are answers that I don't have. But I think we have to get the conversations going. And the more knowledge that we have, then the more we can we can formalize them and make them actionable.
Yeah, because the NIL is definitely a tool that is a part of recruiting now. I mean, as we continue to get more and more experience and years pass by, you can start seeing these young athletes start looking for NIL options, you know, by coming to the school. I mean, we'll be a fool to try to just be naive and say, nah, that's not going to happen. So the more we can get educated and get out in front of it, the better we can help our coaching staff and our administrators in that department with, you know, landing guys that they feel like that can be a deciding factor if it came down to it.
True.
Jackie, what's up?
Hi, everybody. Not much. Just have a rambunctious 4-year-old. Really excited about the new year. So, yeah, but he's having fun chasing daddy.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days, you know, as one expects when, you know, the position coaches, some of them are getting announced. You're going to have re-offers to some kids, just confirming their offers. You know, so a lot of these kids want to know is like, are you still recruiting me with a new head coach? So that's just basically the par for the course. And you're going to see that a lot in the next few weeks. So when you look at 24/7's database, if you see a UVA offer, some of those kids, you're just going to have to think like, are they going to get reoffered by the new staff, depending on the new schemes that they'll run. So that's just something that's going to be going through the process the next few weeks. But some of the guys that, you know, were offered were guys that we expected to. You know, if you look at some of the guys who are getting reoffered are guys that you just see that they had potential going to UVA. And, you know, Kyle Grubbs is one guy that is very familiar with UVA. I didn't even have to message him to ask him for his thoughts. He just messaged me right away and said, I'm just blessed that 2J is staying. And that he's like, I'm just really excited that I still have the UVA offer. So you have a lot of kids like that were just, you know, on pins and needles, waiting to see what's going to happen with their future. So a lot of these guys just were waiting. And so that's what they're waiting right now. And that's what we're going through the process. And obviously the transfer portal, you know, that linebacker from Stanford that just picked up the offer, Fox, he's a really intriguing prospect. You know, I was talking to the guys over at Stanford. It didn't seem like he fit in there. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's a really nice looking kid. He has only one visit lined up at this moment, January 14th, I think it is, for Maryland. He wants to visit Virginia.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah. So, you know, he's just getting into the transfer portal right now. There's over 2,000 kids. There's more kids in the transfer portal than openings, scholarship openings.
Oof.
So, yeah, I think I talked about this last time. The transfer portal is still chaotic. The NCAA works so slowly, but I imagine there's got to be something where they need to just organize it a little bit more. You know, if you know me, you know I love English Premier League and you know I love European soccer. So
yeah,
maybe something to do with transfer windows. So it's a little less chaotic where it's not a 12-month thing. It's here's January is your transfer window for the transfer portal, and here's the summer, where's the transfer to the transfer portal. Because right now it's just, you know, the coaches are out there on the recruiting trail for high school athletes. And then you also have transfer portal. So when do they actually have a break? But also, how can you really evaluate things when you're getting tossed so many things at the same time? So that's still something that they need to work out, especially when there is a coaching change. Because look at all the chaos, not just at Virginia, but across the country where you had a coaching change and then all of a sudden you have early signing day.
Yeah. Great point.
So right now, I know I've been preaching patience, but that's all you really can do right now.
I'm with you too, but now it's like, I don't know if I can keep telling you preach patience because it is, you know, getting to the nitty gritty in a sense.
It is. But, you know, you just, at this point, that's all you can really do because these kids, you know, are still trying to evaluate schools that are yet to be announced their current position coaches. or they, you're still dealing with the repercussions of the COVID year too. Don't forget, a lot of kids couldn't visit schools like they could. I remember the way Florida handled their class last year. They were able to sign a pretty decent class last year because most of the kids that they had in their class visited 2 years ago for a 7-on-7 camp over the summer. So a lot of their kids had already seen them on campus. So you had kids not visiting for the last year or so that could help you 2 years from now. So you're kind of backtracking from that. So you're still having that time where you miss the year. Those underclassmen and getting to your camps over the summer, because those camps that are summer, kids come to you. Yeah. So you're missing that. So now I know, again, I'm preaching patience, but that's all you can do until February, and you evaluate on the transfer portal. And I expect, some of the guys on UVA's rosters are going to be making certain announcements in the next few weeks here about their decisions, and that will also impact the roster too. So it's just everything is moving and slowly, but it's still moving. And don't forget, January also, you have to go back to the 85 scholarship number. Despite that you're allowed to sign more players, the NCAA allowed that, you still have to have 85 scholarship numbers. But all these players have the extra year of COVID. So you have to worry about, numbers too. You got to have guys trying to see, okay, how many scholarships do we actually have? UVA was never going to have a big class this year. Because of that, they expected some of the guys to return for another year, or the potential of some of the older guys to return this year. So they weren't going to assign a big class anyways. So yeah, they're just, marching down, and there are guys out there. There's enough good looking prospects. I really like that kid they offered, Jason Jenkins, from New Jersey. That was a guy that I thought UVA was going to get in on. Just actually before Bronco stepped down, that was something that I've heard that he was being evaluated. He's a good looking prospect. Not sure if he will visit UVA. I was talking to people at Florida. They think they can get him, and he's scheduled to get there an official visit. But they're looking for talent. There's talent out there, and this is the time where you're going to see some late bloomers because, again, COVID year kind of affected this class. So you might be able to get a diamond in the rough or a guy that just wasn't seen yet. So there are still possibilities out there.
I appreciate that, Jack. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is tricky right now. That COVID year definitely threw a curveball for everybody as far as just managing the scholarships, as far as do you bring back that graduate player? Do you go to the transfer portal, or do you make sure you're getting enough incoming freshmen for that added depth and development? And a lot of times when they threw out that free year, as they said, I always tell them, it's a free year, but nothing really changed with the scholarship number. So it was it's going to be decisions going to have to be made. So, yeah, it's definitely tough. And I know it's tough for the coaches too. And shout out to Coach 2J for being back and the job he does on the recruiting trail as well, since you mentioned his name. So shout out to my guy. He got retained. That's a great thing. Jeremy, you was in first, and then I'll let Bama Who talk next. Whatever you got to say, brother.
What's up, Hawk?
What's going on?
I just wanted to just talk about how excited I was after listening or joining the space with OG, talking about all the ways that, me as a supporter of the football program could potentially help them, with UVA, us trying to put together our own Florida initiative or whatever they called it. I know OG said he wanted to come up with his own, title for it, but NIL and any kind of way that we can put money in these players' pockets, man, just so that when they come to campus, they know that the community's behind them, we support them, because everybody ain't got that backing at home. They come into the university, butterball naked, pause, so, if there's any kind of way that we can help those guys out, man, I think it's going to be a great situation. Yeah,
man, I definitely appreciate your input. Yeah, you're right, man. That's just having various options. Because, everybody hears about the NIL talk. It's like everybody's not trying to just focus on the NIL like that's the end-all, be-all. But you want to make sure you have those options there because you're showing a recruit that you're hip to the game. But again, each university specializes in different areas. You know what I'm saying? And we all know here at the University of Virginia, we pride ourselves of being a high academic institution. And like Cub says, it's about that 40-year plan. But also, we want to be just as successful on the football field. So you got to try to have the best of both worlds. We talked about, invest in our facilities and things of that nature. So, everything is important. But look, man, we know we behind some other universities, just like they behind us in certain areas as well. And you reach the kids who value what you value. And if a kid doesn't value what your university values and offers, then you respectfully just say, hey, man, go be great at whatever university you choose. We just wasn't the right match for you. And again, I'm just going to piggyback off yesterday, doing the trash talk in the petty 2 hours. Even though it was a petty trash talk, I just felt like disrespecting that young dude wasn't cool. And I was just in my petty bag and not just letting people get their balls off that, not realizing that the aftermath it could create of just letting folks take shots at, not really take shots at him, but they taking shots at him. So go ahead, Bama.
What up, Ball Hawk?
What up, though?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, I have two things I want to say. But before I say anything, Jeremy Lee, you still only have Tar Heel in your bio.
She petty.
Yeah, I like it. I like your pettiness.
I mean, it's been days now. You said you were going to fix that. So I just wonder, every day I listen to you talk about UVA fan.
I see you keeping those receipts. I got you. Keep me on my toes. I respect it.
That's right. Okay, but what I really want to say is we need to reel in Fox. That guy's a Stanford grad, and better still, he's from Alabama. We need him.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And the third thing is listening to Covington, who is my favorite person to listen to. I have to say that, Tony. I love listening to you every Saturday.
Thank you.
But I also want to say, before fans and others start trying to get some of this NIL stuff, pushing the university to get it going, we've got players and recruits who have clothing. Dak Twitty has clothing. Billy Kemp has clothing. So there's something that we as Twitter UVA fans can do to help promote those guys' clothing and get out there and buy it. And, we talk a lot about planning for tailgating and coming up with a plan for that. But meanwhile, as a group, we need to do something to support these players who do have clothing already. Get them recognized, retweet it, buy it, promote it, because that's something we can do now.
Absolutely. Gucci Man, my man Anthony Johnson, AJ, he got his own clothing line as well.
So let's someday soon have a space and talk about how we can do that to promote it and let everybody know, because you get one blast and then it disappears and nobody sees it again. So let's find a way to come up with a plan among ourselves to promote our guys already.
We can talk about that Monday.
Hey, Hawk, here's the thing. I was talking to a parent threw this idea out. If we try to do stuff in, say, Mitzers in the bookstore, the kid, having the kids merchandise there, then they're going to have to get a lower percentage because, of course, they want to get their cut out of it, as opposed to if we had a space, whether, where it was just the players' merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
It, even if it was a little bit off campus, Because I'm not trying to give the university some of the kids money. I mean, they already get paid off of the kids' backs. You know what I'm saying? If we had a spot where there was a storefront or a restaurant that had a open section and all they did was sell kids merch and the kids get 100% off of that, you know, I think that's a creative way to try to do it. I don't know where we would do it, but I'm just trying to think outside the box a little bit.
Hey, Cub, if we promote that, can it be promoted as like a Wahoo thing, or would it just have to be?
Nah, yeah, you can't. I don't think we can attach the school name to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think the advantage that we have, if we had the venue, all right, the advantage that we have is social media. That's the advantage that we have in the different platforms and the podcasts and the spaces where we can promote the absolute hell out of it. Hey, support your kids. You know, hey, get their merchandise at this location. It's hot. You know, hey, here's a preview of some of the things that are available. Your favorite player. Da, da, da. I mean, I think we could do it that way. And sure, I mean, bro, you know, the way that social media works, man, shoot, we can market the heck out of it.
I mean, and the thing is, if the young men had whatever their designs are, if it's a multicolored designs and they just use transfers, like, I do my own shirts at my crib. I'll help them out as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? And on that front as well, just to help with their margin and costs and things like that, because it's for the greater good. You know,
right.
So
and that's where we use our resources. That's what we use our resources on. You know what I'm saying? And helping with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like just creating, an Instagram account, a TikTok account around that, and just promote the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Norcastle, you got your hand up, waiting patiently. My bad.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I love this conversation. I think that, look, my great granddad, man, he coached UVA. Okay, 1906, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you, I don't know a lot about him because it's a long time ago, right? But I can tell you why he left. He left because UVA was wine and cheese in 1906 as much as it's wine and cheese in 2021. He goes to Nebraska for 4 or 5 years and has a great time, right? Mm-hmm. So my point is, we've been wine and cheese for a long time from a marketing perspective. I think the school has got to fully embrace this new coach. And what does that mean? We got to really amp it up in the marketing department. It's a Red Bull and Twizzler world, man. It's not a wine and cheese world any longer. And if we don't do that, if we don't embrace NIL to the fullest extent, if we just leave it passively and subtly, we're going to get further behind, and we're going to lose a coach in 5 years, right? I think it's great that we as fans and alum, we want to do all we can, but I don't want to let the school off the hook, man. At some point, UVA has got to really step up from marketing department and get behind this football team, right? Big time. I think it's time. I think it's time to do it now. I respect what Adele is saying, but I just don't think leaving it to the fans is going to make its mark enough. We got to put it on the school.
Nah, I'm with you on that. That's definitely, like, you got to get aggressive. So just got a DM from Miss Michelle Allen, and she stated that her husband suggested having a merchandise truck for student merchandise. That would be dope. That would be dope. Now, it just depends on what we can, like, because, the games is the hotbed. It's all about just trying to find a location and working with the university about that location to allow fans to be able to walk up. Because it's different. We all know online is a great option, but it's a difference when you got that merch right in front of you.
True.
They do something to your wallet, just jump into your hand. Say, hey, use one of these things. Get that. I need it.
Yeah, the White Spot's got a truck. Why not merchandise?
Yeah. Definitely, man. Zara, did you want to say anything, man? Because we've been. If people don't know, Zara, my homeboy from the crib, and we argue pro sports all the time, and he usually just be trolling. But let me see if he got some real, or if he just listening. Zara, you got anything, brother?
What's going on, fam?
What's up, man?
Man, I'm enjoying this conversation, bro. It's two things on the serious tip. Great conversation from everyone, but this makes me realize it's a lack of service for these kids all over as far as universities. I see what you're saying about the NIL deals and stuff like that, but what are we doing? Like the dude said, what are we doing to set these men up for to be successful going forward? Not only UVA, Virginia Tech, and I'm not talking about selling T-shirts. I'm not talking about selling hats and buttons. We're talking about credit card services, getting these young men ready. Do you see a problem with that in the future, as far as the universities and the stores and companies around these universities?
So you talking about like financial literacy?
Yeah, I mean, it don't have to all be about, the hats and the T-shirts and stuff. We talking about services. Service, bro, like service.
That's definitely an option. I mean, that's something that Cub has already been speaking with the young man about, and he can speak to that more than me. That's his lane, so I'll let him take over.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you there, and that's a part of like the life skills development piece that's missing, at a lot of universities. I think, some schools touch it surface like, but they're not getting down to the nitty gritty, man, of to that financial education is what I prefer to say, financial education as opposed to literacy. Those are the nuts and bolts, teaching these kids how to network, teaching them how to build a resume, to build a life resume, when they don't have one because all they have is sports. And so there's so many levels at career development, leadership development, personal development, academic development, community engagement and involvement, social justice. There's so many different avenues that these kids need to delve into. And I created a curriculum that supports those, and I was really just trying to focus on it for the collegiate athlete. And then I say, you know what, if I could get this to the younger kids in high school, man, I could create a dynamic student athlete that has much more knowledge. So that's something that I've been working on, but kind of just doing it kind of as a one-off, but something that I want to elevate and make that my full-time mission.
Okay, I like that. Second question for Hawk, real quick before I jump off, man. I'm not a pro when it comes to the transfer portal. So if a kid, my question is this: if a kid wants to go to a school, transfer in, because I'm seeing all these kids linking to all these schools, is there enough scholarships to go around, or am I looking at that wrong?
No, it's not. That's what Jackie, she hit on that before you came in. It's not. It's more transfer than scholarships available right now.
Okay, so if a kid says, I want to go to, let's say, Virginia Tech, he jumps in the transfer portal. So it's no guarantee he's going to have a scholarship.
No.
So these kids are kind of jumping the gun.
I mean, you jump in the portal at your own risk.
Okay.
Yeah, brother. I mean, because right now, due to COVID, there's no quote unquote penalty. Like, you don't have to sit a year. Like, it's right now.
But as a player, bro, it just confuses me. If you let's say if you at Stanford, right? Not the young man she was talking about. If you were a sophomore at Stanford, your ride is paid for. Just because you not getting any playing time, you're going to transfer to a university that's unsure about how many scholarships they have. I know it happened, but
what they do is they end up contacting the teams that were a part of their original recruiting process, and you get a filler. Like I've never been in that process, but I'm assuming they feel like one of those teams a bite, and they can go to one of those schools. But yeah, it's a big risk for sure that they don't think about because they're so emotionally frustrated, like they're not getting their just due. And we know when you take action based off your emotions, you're not rational. You're not logical. Like you're not really thinking things through. You just I want more.
And don't forget this does not happen in every school, but scholarships are 1-year deals. Yep. They get renewed after every year. So some kids are going to transfer portal, aren't actually doing that, or they don't want to go into transfer portal, or they're being pushed or suggested, hey, you should go to a transfer portal. This doesn't happen in every school, but you do hear these things. So some kids are being pushed to transfer portal. They're like, you're not going to have a scholarship here, or we're going to recruit somebody over you, maybe even 2 or 3 guys over you. So that is a situation where some of these guys are going to listen to in the off season.
Thanks for that, bro.
Great input. So if y'all check the top of the space, you will see Roundtree Clothing. That is Dakota Twitty's merch right there. And if somebody finds a tweet of anybody else that's affiliated with our university, I can share their merch within this space. Monday, we'll definitely try to track down each and everybody's merch and stuff and have discussions at length. Because I think that's a great thing, really just marketing these young men, because it doesn't take anything to really utilize this powerful tool known as social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You make a short YouTube video, Cover Myself, we share a podcast. You know, we always try to big up guys. I have my own podcast. Just, you know, that's just, I think anything that we can do ourselves definitely helps with their visibility and the traffic to their sites, because that plays a role.
Can we talk about how hot that is, though? Route tree, the only tree I plant. Oh, that's fire. Oh, that's fire. Oh, I love the creativity of these young folks, man. Oh.
Anybody else that's a speaker that wanna talk, just go ahead. What up, Adam?
What's up, man? I just wanted to say, as far as the clothes of all the kids on the team, guess you could share it on here like you're doing right now. I don't know, somebody can make an Instagram account like somebody else said. Then maybe on game day you have like a mobile retail store.
Mm-hmm.
With just the kids that's on the team, just their stuff. That's just what I had to say. I was listening to what you guys were saying. That's my input on it.
Love it.
No problem, man. Appreciate that, bro. Always appreciate your feedback. You know that. Like anybody else that want to share any thoughts, let us know, man. Let your voice be heard. All information is needed and appreciated, man. Don't feel like what you say doesn't mean anything, because, you know, it don't only mean something when you don't say it.
They also got something called Campus Mogul that they can sell their stuff on too. I don't know if anybody know about that. But,
word?
Yeah, it's called Campus Mogul.
Can you you mind tweeting that? If you could DM me that site and stuff, man, I'll put, you know, put that down and then start adding it to all the stuff that I do, man. Because I'll put that in any of the bio stuff so people can click on it.
Yeah, I got you.
I kind of got like a multi-layered question about recruiting right now.
Okay.
I think it was pretty evident the most glaring deficiencies on the roster were the secondary and probably say the running back room. So I was wondering what the plan was for addressing these two position groups. And I was posted up in here beside Coach 2J for a second. We lost a couple big offensive lineman transfers. So just wondering how we were going to address the secondary and the running back room. I think Tyler Papa announced his transfer portal decision yesterday.
Yeah.
Huge Tyler Papa fan. I love Wayne. So just wondering how we were going to address the running back room, secondary, and now the offensive line.
Yeah.
Me.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so as far as the running back room, losing the Samoa Slasher is big. But Mike Hollins is time. It's time for him.
He's a beast.
I love Mike Hollins. He played amazing in the second half of the season last year.
Right.
Played amazing second half of the season last year.
So Devin Darrington is trying to get another year. He's waiting to hear back from the NCAA. If he comes back with Hollins, with Ahmad Faustin, we going to be all right. And then the young boy that's coming.
Did we lose Cove?
We lost Cove. He went out. Oh.
He went
got
to the
downgraded
transfer portal.
All right, I'll get him back in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I got you.
all right. And the young kid from Kentucky, I was saying, that's dynamic. So I think we'll be fine there. Secondary wise, that's a major piece there. Yep. But I also question the lack of there's a lack of development for the young guys, because you've got some guys that have length in that secondary that got no burn, and they continue to trot the guys that were out there. And I was like, wait a minute, that spoke to a lack of development, how they practice, lack of individual, lack of one-on-one. You cannot get better if you're not being coached and you're not being developed. And so the young boys that they do have that are 6'2", 6'3", long arms, they just need to be developed. Now, hey, they may be a little raw this year because they didn't get the playing time. They didn't get the development. But, it's time. We got Gucci, who was a solid corner. They got to hit the transfer portal.
Yeah.
We lost him again.
But yeah, with the secondary, respectfully, it didn't even look like a Power 5 secondary. It was like the UNC game. Oh my goodness. I thought the UNC game was going to be the difference maker in the season. I thought that was going to be the game where we really established ourselves in the nation as, a solidified top 25 team with a great chance at making a run at the Coastal and the ACC.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, we had to attack the portal. I mean, the portal was good to us last year with AJ. AJ was a stud. He played in the boundary. So
Jelani too. Jelani was too.
Yeah. So, Cub, go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah. The kid from Northwestern that just went into the portal was All-American in 2020. Safety. That's a position of need for us as well. I mean, we have a lot of need back there. A secondary guy doesn't always work out. But you have to have the coaching and developing, man. I just feel like there are some diamonds in the rough that are on that squad that just did not get the opportunity because they weren't developed, they weren't coached. And so that's why the assistants, whoever's coaching that secondary, whatever scheme we're going to be running defensively, that we have to get guys that can coach these dudes up, period, point blank.
Agreed.
I appreciate that.
The porter's going to be our best friend, especially, with the offensive lineman that transferred. We got guys in the room. We got young guys that could fill the void. Because that's one area that –
Even Coach TJ. The offensive lines look great the last 2-3 years.
That's what I was going to say. That's the one area where when Cub talk about development that we don't have to really – that's not a big question mark as far as can that group be developed, because it's shown that they can be developed.
Definitely.
It's all about now just with the new scheme, just everybody, becoming familiar with that. So,
for sure.
I mean, clearly, Carolina has the same coaching issue in regards to the DBs. And if you listen to Grimes' dad yesterday, you could hear the frustration. I mean, his kid is a phenomenal player, and to see him ill-positioned so many times, it goes back to coaching. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that DB coach gone after yesterday. But back to UVA, I mean, where are we in regards to Tony making a decision on a DB coach? Has he made any progress on that? Anybody have any info? Or
Tony like the CIA, he like the government, man. You ain't gonna really get too many leaks.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's doing his due diligence, because he game plan versus a couple of years ago. And, when Bryce Hall went down and we had some trouble in the secondary. So, I mean, he's meticulous. So he's going to make sure that position is addressed, because the secondary can definitely make a difference in college football. As bad as our secondary was, and it was bad, you got to think what we did to everybody's secondary too. So everybody got to re-up in the ACC, re-up their secondary, or it's going to be a long day in the Coastal.
Yeah, so, and the receiving room we got is crazy.
Yeah, receiver group. I mean, and that's the thing. We got the receivers. Cub just broke down the backs that we have here. We're waiting on Brendan's decision. We got Jay and young QBs coming in. Just got to make sure we got guys, offensive line, that put people at ease. Like, we know we got somebody who can get them right. It's just everybody wants to see everything, right? Like, that's what he just asked about the coaching staff. Like, they can be in place right now, but we don't know because we don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all about putting people at ease and building that confidence and starting to market and have people better understand what we have on the roster to compete with other schools. Let me see. Cub got kicked again.
Is Braden coming back? You know, I'm a Fork Union guy, so I'm just checking on my other Fork Union guys. I don't know if Braden has another year or not.
Braden do got another year eligibility left, I think, because of that COVID year. If I'm not mistaken, he may have. But yeah, man, like I think those guys got ability, bro. It just goes down what Cub said. Just like the COVID year threw a monkey wrench in a lot of things, and even development, because you can have that hands-on development like you want in the off season. Like people don't understand how important like the winter workouts in that spring and then going to that summer, guys, is being able to work one-on-one on your craft. And when you don't get that, you're working behind the eight, but like you're trying to make that time up. And now you out there, you're on the field, and you start creating bad habits. I saw a lot of bad habits that you just end up picking up because you just don't even realize that the technique you're practicing that you feel like you mastered isn't even the appropriate technique. Your eyes isn't where they're supposed to be, but you're playing catch up so much that as soon as you try to correct it, you're game planning now. You're not even trying to work on your fundamentals. You're so worried about the opponent and the tendencies of folks that your bad habits are just getting pushed to the side because you're trying to make sure you're ready for your opponent. So these young men definitely got to get back in the lab. And hell, I'm in town. Shoot, I'll chop it up with them. Cub be in town. He'll chop it up with me for our secondary guys. So we'll make sure that it's not like that again.
Cub for DB coach.
Facts.
Hawk, how much, in your opinion, how much of our DB issues were related to the fact that it just seemed like we never could get pressure on the quarterback? It was painful to watch. I mean, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds, and the guy still has, room to throw. What's your view on that?
The technique was bad.
As a DB,
the technique was awful, though. Let's just be clear. I gotta call it. I gotta call it like I see it. I only know it. That's the only way I know. There was very bad technique. There was a lack of confidence. Now, to your point, a DB is only as good as the pressure that's brought. And the scheme was not set up for them to be successful in the 3-3-5. We just didn't have the personnel that could run that defense. Hence, there was no pressure. When they did, they had to blitz. And when they did blitz and they did get pressure, the quarterback could get rid of the ball because the technique was so bad. And, so it was just, things were just canceling out each other. So there has to be a scheme that's going to fit the personnel.
Damn, that was good.
Did he get kicked again? I was responding to somebody's DM.
I think so.
Yeah, that kept happening to me yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Cub got that Boost Mobile.
Man, Cub got a nice little Android joint, though.
Hey, is Chico Bennett coming back next year?
Oh, buddy, if Chico wouldn't have went down, I'm glad you brought his name up. I was excited about Chico.
Yeah, I heard he looked really good.
Yeah, old Chico the Barge. I was, hey, buddy, listen, I was hype about Chico. Yeah, Thank you for reminding me about Chico. I appreciate you, brother.
You're welcome, bro.
Yes. Oh man, dog, I couldn't tell you how much that hurt my heart when Chico went down, brother. I had my Hulk Hogan voice, and I saw him on that practice field.
And all it takes is one player to completely switch the energy around, so hopefully he can get right,
That's a fact, bro. That's
all
a fact.
It takes is one player. Bring that energy, bring that juice. My coach used to say.
Hey, look, if was a fifth, right? If Chico out there, then we seeing Sam coming downhill off the heads with the Hisha Hisha. Let me get that quarterback in my OG Who voice. But hey, the universe had other ideas, and you can't complain with that. But yeah, man. Any other thoughts?
You think Nick Jackson leaving was a result of how do I put it?
Who you say?
Nick Jackson, the linebacker.
Nah, Nick ain't leave. Noah left.
Didn't? I thought Nick entered the draft.
Nah, Nick Grant. Nick Grant did.
Excuse me.
I mean, Nick was already done, so he was just business farewell, his respects.
Definitely.
Yeah, but Noah left for UNC. We salute him as much as we want to punch him in the face when he wear that Jordan. But I love him. I love him though. I love you, Noah. But we're gonna punch you in your face when you come here. But I love you. Don't ever get that twisted, Noah. I love you. But I'm going to punch you in your face with a victory when you come here to the sky. Yeah, man. If we got to play a dude that left, we're going to punch you in your face. Not literally.
Yes.
And them Tar Heels didn't look too sharp last night.
Hey, don't worry. The Virginia Tech fans are letting them Tar Heels have it. And Noah became a Cassidy Award, too, yesterday.
Hey, Pitt balled out, though. I think Pitt solidified their season with that bold performance, I think.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Pickett didn't play, and then the backup broke his collarbone, right? Early.
Yeah, I think they had the third string, and they was giving Michigan State everything they had.
Now here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts, because we talk about HTC schools. Should Addison come back?
Yeah, because they got Slavis coming in from USC.
Okay.
He should go right back.
He got a special season. Like,
he should go
hey. I think he should personally leave. Go get your bag. Don't come back. Please don't come back.
Oh, yeah. As a fan, I'm like, get the hell on. Hey, that's me being selfish. Like, bye, Addison. He a beast, man. That kid, he had a phenomenal season.
Yeah,
man.
He is very good.
I do want to say yesterday, Virginia Tech fans, y'all are some trash. Y'all lucky. Ike, you weren't in the building yesterday, was you?
Nah, I was at work.
But it wasn't our fight. It wasn't our fight anyway. We was at UNC and Virginia Tech fans fight. But I give it to Virginia Tech fans. They show up to talk some trash because it took a minute for North Carolina fans to jump into the space yesterday.
I heard Lauren Johnson and Vic drop some good stuff, but
facts. Yeah, so I shared that. So the episode I shared today is the part where we let Steven and Glove get their differences out the way. Yeah, we let them get their differences out the way as it should, as men, respectfully, because it was a misunderstanding. Like, he wasn't dissing Glove's son. He was just more talking about, hey, you got to take care of our kids from the 757. That was it. So once they got that out the way, Lauren came in and held the gospel. I mean, he wrote a nice book. You know what I'm saying? It's like, he laid it down. Then Vic came in and laid it down. Some people try to say he was taking shot at Glover. People just love to go at Glove, dog. Like, hey, yo, man, people love going at Glove. Like, Glove. And look, man, me and Glove, somebody was like, me and Glove tight. So, like, I'm respectful to the OG, man. I respect this hustle. And he's never done any ill will things towards me. But we got to stop with these narratives. Like, I'm just, like, letting people, like, come on, man, stop that, bro. Like, I'm grown. Stop, please. I'm a respectful dude. I'm a positive guy. If somebody coming in and they say something that is deemed disrespectful, like I told you, I'm gonna let people reveal themselves. You could tell it's not my voice, so don't say I said what they said. They said what they said. Okay. So, yeah, man. But yeah, and damn, I can't get not Glove, but Cove back in here, because even Glove got defensive with Cove yesterday, and Cove just like, dog. But yeah, man. Any other speakers that want to? My man Max Vallis in the building, man. Salute to you, King. My guy. I mean, we got coaches in here, recruits. Salute to all the coaches. Salute to the recruits, man. Y'all continue to be on y'all grind. Understand, you got to take care of the classroom just as much as the field. When you hitting up these coaches, look, for the record, I'm not a coach, guys, but when you do hit up a coach trying to share your highlights, make sure you introduce yourself respectfully, who you are, what school you go to. Don't just say, hey, check my film out. No. Name, first, last name, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. This ain't like sliding up in no DM with no shorty. No, it's a respectful, business-like approach, man. Make sure you're using that.
Hey, Ahmad, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so we talk about all the players with their own gear. What's the rules on the school letting them license the UVA insignias and logos?
I don't think.
Like, I feel it's like if they could plaster, the V Sabres on their shirt with whatever other stuff they have, more people would be likely to buy it. If the school allowed them to use it, seems like an easy way to let the kids make some money.
I think the school will end up taking a percentage. It just depends on the logistics as far as the percentage, because they're using that trademark logo. So that's something that they will have to take up with the school and they work something out. Because I think a lot of schools want to be, well, I don't know for sure, but a lot of schools, good character schools, would want to just say, hey, go do your own thing, because we don't want to make it seem like we controlling the narrative. But then you got these other conglomerates that's like, hey, come on, partner up with us so we can take all that you're getting. So that's a great question, though, man. All right. How much? I'm sorry, man. I was answering the text. Anybody else got any other thoughts? We ain't got to keep holding up the space. We can end it. If everybody got everything they want to answer. Oh, let me see. I got a request. What's going on with you, brother?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
All right. So, as you can tell, I don't know how long you've been watching college football, but lately, well, at least within the last 10 years, I've been noticing that a lot more like first-round draft picks, projected draft picks, they've been skipping the bowl games. Yeah. Now with the NILs, I noticed that even more people are. I feel like people are skipping it more, because now it's more of a brand thing. Do you feel like it's ever going to get to a point where we're not putting on the best football because people are ever going to get distracted because of outside items?
That's a great question, man. I mean, there's always a possibility that for a lot of the top guys that aren't.
Like, you didn't go over see where somebody skipped the, like, for example,
championship?
Yeah, like, for example, the Michigan dude, he's projected to go number one,
Yeah. I find it, me personally, I don't think a kid would skip a championship game.
Because I remember the last time, I remember Christian McCaffrey, he skipped the Rose Bowl, but that was just the Rose Bowl, Yeah. I think if a kid is projected to be a first round pick and he's playing, even if he's playing in a big bowl, one of these big bowls, not the college football playoff bowls, I could see them skipping that just because of what happened to Jalen Smith for Notre Dame. Now, when it comes to the national championship, everybody strives to win a championship. So that's in your DNA. So if you're attached to that championship, until I see it done, I find that hard that a kid not follow that through. If you was drafted, you think that's something, like, let's just say you was a general manager. Was that something you would look at, or you don't think that's a big deal?
Nah, because sometimes I think we kind of overthink it, because if you get to the NFL and you're a starter and a star and you lock up the playoffs, you probably won't play that last game of the season. So that's why I kind of compare it to. You know what I'm saying? So as much as folks don't like to hear that, that is the approach now, because it's so much of a risk. And yes, and here's what I want to say. On one hand, folks feel like you're letting your brothers down because you're not playing that bowl game, but your brothers understand your end game. And I always say the dude that's your backup ain't mad. He happy because he about to start. He about to get more film. But again, it just depends on the relationship you have with your coaches and your brothers. If they view you as a selfish prick, then they just gonna hate you anyway. You know what I'm saying? They probably glad that you're not a part of the team anymore and you can adjust to. But that's a great question. But yeah, more young men gonna start sitting out bowl games if they feel like there is more of a risk than a reward, because they are solidified. Just like we've seen guys take themselves out the rest of the season, and then it still worked out for them. They still win the first round. So
They bet on themselves, and it paid off. So that's the ugly part of sports. That's a business that when I was in school, we didn't understand because it wasn't prevalent. It wasn't something that was in our grasp to understand. But now with social media, with so much information on the internet, and young men and women being more aware of the business side of sports, they starting to make these business decisions at a younger age. And the old regime don't like it. It's because they're catching up. And yeah, that's a great question. Appreciate it.
Well, yeah, man, they're not gonna like it because, if let's just say, for example, they're not gonna like it because let's just say Caleb Williams, if he end up for the quarterback for Oklahoma, if he don't play, that can affect Oklahoma's opportunity, the boosters, so they're not a fan of it, I guess it's different loyalty lines,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. And, I never want to question somebody's competitive edge. But like I said, when it comes to the business side and understanding what you want for your future, yes, we could be upset as consumers because we want the best product to be out there. I saw Kirk Herbstreit address this and really go at the young man that's taking a seat. And I understand he has a job, and his job calls for being able to enjoy the best product on the field so he can really break down the game. If the best product isn't available, it makes his job tougher because when you're in that booth, if it's a quick blowout because it's lopsided, it's tough. We seen Mike Gola Jr. eating Oreos and mayonnaise. Like you got to find things to do if it's a blowout. So I get it. I get everybody's stance, and I respect everybody's stance. But yeah, man, I don't get upset if a player said, "Well, I get disappointed." Yeah, but I understand.
Yeah, it's tough. All right, and I guess my last question. I got one more question. Is that right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so my last question is: I recently heard about there was recently I think his name was Paul. He's like a bald dude. He's always on the SEC networks. He got wear glasses.
Paul Feinbaum.
I believe so. So he was saying for the transfer portals, he said they should make a window because he feels like it's affected, like he said there's too much under the table, negotiating, people say you're not supposed to talk to a kid until he puts his name into the transfer portal.
Uh-huh.
Well, apparently they're talking about how because there's no set market for like when the transfer portal starts, they're saying there's been a lot of under the table and like pretty much like recruiting violations. Now, obviously, you're never going to be able to stop any like recruiting violations. But do you even think that like making like a set standard where it was like, oh, you can't talk about the transfer portal or the transfer portal seasons from, let's just say, I don't know, what the last game, let's just say from like February to April,
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like if they made like a time period for the transfer portal that would cut down on some of the illegal violations, or you think there's nothing you can do to stop those illegal recruiting practices?
Yeah, you could definitely try to put restriction on it, man, to make it that much more difficult for people to utilize their illegal tactics. And Jackie, she stated about how it should be like European soccer, how you have different waves. And she just unmuted, so I know she could speak to that.
Yeah. So a little additional background. My dad was a retired soccer agent. So he dealt with European soccer athletes, and he had a lot of, he dealt with Serie A, La Liga, and English Premier League. So with the transfer window, yeah, they cut down with a lot of, I guess that they call it tapping. They call it tapping. So there is still that. You're still going to have some communication between coaches and players, even though there is transfer windows. It's illegal. It's still illegal in the English Premier League. But if you follow it, a couple years ago, Ashley Cole, who was Arsenal cornerback, he was being tapped by Chelsea. And they even had like people talking about that Jose Mourinho, who was their manager at the time, was having lunch with Ashley Cole. And then Chelsea was fined, and they had kind of like a ban by using the transfer window for 2 cycles. So you can obviously do those type of punishments too when it comes to transfer portal, but it's not like it's going to eliminate everything by saying this is the only time you get to transfer, because there's always going to be a back way to say, to maybe go at a player and say, hey, are you interested in going to transfer portal, because we're going to want to get you. So they will clear up some things. Like I said earlier, like just having a set schedule does help just the coaches, and just knowing like what you have out there. But it won't stop all illegal activity.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, because I feel like nowadays, I feel like it's really the recruiting is more of a bigger deal now, just because you missed out on a kid, or, obviously there's there's a chance you might be able to go get him again, because like, I don't know the number, but I know you're only allowed a certain amount of scholarships, so I always wonder, if some people are focused on recruiting other class, like other upperclassmen or transfer portals, or what is it, the community college people, those type people. I just wonder, with the limit we have, if we're gonna be able to transfer, I think we're gonna have to, either gonna have to raise like the scholarship limits, people have more opportunities, or something else, because I feel like the way it is, it's just not going to look good for like, it's not looking good for like the programs who are losing the players, because like if you recruited somebody, he ends up transferring, you wasted a year and some change, could have been recruiting somebody else,
Yeah, I say the one thing that no one really talks about the transfer portal is also how it affects kids that are on the cusp of getting an offer.
Yeah.
Or those kids who might go to like D2 or D3
or
schools.
Junior college. Yeah.
Those kids are getting left out a little bit, because those schools are saying, well, why do I need to go to get a high school athlete where I can get a former D1 athlete that needs a home? Like James Houston, who was a Florida linebacker. He went to Jackson State. And, you have a lot of these guys are realizing they don't need to go to D1 school to go to the NFL. You just get a good tape out there, use social media, and then just show out on pro days. And you know what? They're still getting to the NFL. So it's changing the game a little bit, but I think it's affecting those high school athletes that are on the cusp of getting an offer. Like I mentioned a couple, I think 1 or 2 spaces ago about Chris Peace. Chris Peace was one of those athletes that received an offer late in the game, because he was a kind of a late bloomer. So imagine he never got a scholarship offer, which is a shame to think about all these kids that are late bloomers that aren't going to get a scholarship offer because of the transfer portal. So there are a lot of things that still needs to be investigated, or still needs to be at least ironed out, especially when it comes to that. And I think the 85 scholarship rule is one of those, especially when you add that COVID extra eligibility year that all the staffs around the country are dealing with.
But one thing I feel like with the COVID extra ability year, I feel like as far as like any top names or anything, I feel like that was only for like low level guys, I haven't heard of any of the years, like a Tua or like, a Trevor Lawrence, somebody of that stature, I feel like that didn't really affect any top tier guys. But if you were like a 3-star recruit, now if you were like a 3 or a 2-star recruit, now it's different, because you might have somebody coming back, But I feel like if you was a 5 or 4-star recruit, I feel like none of that affected, you was already certified on the 85 list, So
No, you're exactly right, man. I apologize. I was typing back somebody in the DM, but no, man, I definitely appreciate your question. Yeah, so that's the thing with the COVID year. Considered being a free year, it kind of just messed up the timetables. Is make you make that decision, like Jackie said. Like a lot of the young high school players were impacted if you felt like you needed to win now. And guys, it was so much of an influx of transfers, and they could play right away. And I had a young man that was in junior college that got on the space a couple of days ago, and he was just trying to confirm that this wouldn't be a free COVID year again, because he had to spend another extra year in junior college just because the scholarships were so limited. So I don't think.
Speaking of the whole win now mentality, let's just say if you hire a new head coach They say I feel like the leashes have gotten a lot shorter. I feel like before I used to give a coach like 3-4 years. Now I feel like within 2, it got bad because Joe Burrow, the LSU team, what was that, 2 years ago or?
Was that 2019?
And he's already fired, so.
Yeah.
I just feel like with the pressure,
there was a lot of other stuff going with.
His stuff was. He had some off the field stuff too, though.
But all I remember is the AD said, "I guarantee you, if they would have been 11, competing in the SEC West, definitely would have had a lot more people fighting for him, So
his little situation was kind of dicey though. With the climate of the world.
I always know losing never make it better,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Losing definitely magnifies and
so like
gives
for
you
example,
extra push.
if you hiring a new head coach, like Florida just hired a new head coach. I don't know how long do you normally like? Because obviously he has to recruit his class.
Mm-hmm.
If you give a new head coach, how many years do you give him before you got to determine if he's on the hot seat or not?
I give him a full recruit. I give him like 4 years.
See, I don't know. I feel like now it's really only like 2,
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on the university standard and what they're used to. Like, if a coach left and you inherited a team that was one of the top teams in the conference and then they just have a abysmal season and then the next year you just okay, then they going to look at you like, all right, coach, you might need to leave.
I remember when Willie Taggart, the dude who replaced Jimbo Fisher?
Yeah, Florida State.
Yeah, they had an abysmal year. I think he only lasted a year and a half,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Florida State has a high, they look at themselves in a high regard, so they're going to be very, very, they already talking about the Mike Norvell. They had a space with him with 6,000 people in there to fire him. So, you're right. Some of these schools do have a very short leash. Very short leash.
Yeah, it's tough too. And also now with the college football playoffs, now it's another bar, it's another bar. It's another bar you got to reach, Now It's like, now New Year's 6 bowl games ain't good enough,
Yeah, no, definitely, man. But I appreciate you taking out the time, man, bro. You definitely have some great insight. I appreciate you, man. So, all right, man. Look, I know it's New Year's Eve. I want you guys to prepare to have a great time with your family today. Get your New Year's resolution on deck. Go get you some sparkling, bubbly, non-alcoholic, so you can be responsible. And we'll be back on these spaces on Monday to talk more NIL. And if you're looking for the petty version of yesterday's 3-hour-long space, that petty episode will probably be it's like 2 hours. So I'll probably release that Sunday for all you petty folks with a disclaimer that it was supposed to be tongue in cheek. So any disrespect you hear did get corrected. But I know folks want to hear those two fan bases go at it because it was pretty funny when they were just going at each other until they involved, like I call it, casualties at war that shouldn't have been involved. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in on this New Year's Eve. I'm about to say Christmas Eve. On New Year's Eve, man. Y'all be blessed, man. It's the Ball Hawk. We out of here.